Shout out to Dark Visitor for tagging me in this post right here. Now, this is what I call some full circle karma. So, in this picture, you see two people. On the right, you see a boy, or he's 18. His name is Jimmy Galligan. And on the right, the left, or down in the center, is this girl named Mimi Groves. So basically, what this boy, Jimmy Galligan, did was he put out this 3-second clip, or this video, I think it was of a Snapchat, of this girl Mimi Groves, saying the N-word in a Snapchat video. I don't know if it was in a song or whatever. But what's interesting is that this same girl got accepted into this school. She was posting all this BLM stuff and everything like that. And all of that got snatched away from her just from a piece of a video that he put out online that went viral. And his words were, "I taught her a lesson." Those were his words. I'm going to read the title. It says, "I taught her a lesson. Black high school student insists he has no regrets about getting white classmate who was 18 kicked out of her dream college by sharing a video of her using a racist slur when she was 15. Let's get into it. A Virginia student says he has no regrets about sharing a video online of a white high school classmate using a racial slur that forced her to withdraw from her dream college. Jimmy Galligan of Leesburg, what did I tell y'all about them Bergs? And this is in Virginia, revealed to the New York Times how he had been in history class at Heritage High School last year when he received a text from a friend which included a video of classmate Mimi Groves using a racial epithet. The 3-second clip sent by Groves to a friend on Snapchat in 2016 showed the then 15-year-old freshman looking into the camera saying, "I can drive niggas," as she was sitting in traffic. So she wasn't even singing a song. She was just saying it. Not that it would have been any better in the song, but she was just saying it, which makes it even worse. Galligan said he had flagged the clip to teachers and administrators, but his complaints reportedly yielded no response. Frustrated and angry, Galligan said he decided to hold on to the video until he thought it was the right time to post it publicly. So you got to think this kid was holding on to this video for 3 years before he decided to make a move. Not 3 years, for 4 years, because I think they said it happened in 2016. He said he posted it in June this year. "I wanted to get her where she would understand the severity of that word," 18-year-old Galligan, whose mother is black and father is white. "If I never posted that video, nothing would have ever happened. I'm going to remind myself, you started something," he continued. "You taught someone a lesson." Groves' video had originally circulated among some students at Heritage High shortly after she recorded it in 2016, but it reportedly did not cause much of a stir. Well, that just shows you right there, because it's probably because it's a predominantly PC high school. Galligan said the racial slur used by Groves had regularly been hurled in classrooms and in hallways during his time in the Loudoun County School District. He also said he hadn't seen the video prior to receiving it last summer when both her and Groves were seniors. Groves, a championship-winning cheerleader, was planning to attend the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, whose cheer team were reigning national champions. She was accepted into the team in May. Weeks later, following the Memorial Day police killings of George Floyd in Minnesota, racial injustice protests broke out across the nation. In response, in a public Instagram post in June, Groves urged people to protest, donate, sign a petition, rally, and do something to help support the BLM movement. One responded to the post, who Groves said she didn't know, reportedly replied, "You have the audacity to post this after you said the N-word." Groves said her confusion quickly turned to panic as friends began calling her and directing her to outrage that was erupting on social media. As it would later transpire, Galligan had publicly posted the Snapchat video from 4 years ago to Instagram earlier that afternoon, having waited until she had selected a college. Wow, this guy right here was so strategic with his plan. He said, "You know what? I'm going to wait till she gets into college and then put it out there." Everything that happened and transpired after that, with George Floyd, which is unfortunate, was the icing on the cake for him to put that video out there. He said, "Oh, so now you want to act fake after you just said the N-word in this video and just said it so smoothly and thought you was going to go ahead and get away with it." Wow. It's almost like you would have thought he was almost like he was waiting to strike, and this was his perfect opportunity to do so. Within a matter of hours, the clip had been shared widely across social media, including TikTok and Twitter. As views of the footage continued to mount, as did furious calls from members of the public demanding the University of Tennessee revoke its admission offer to Groves. Let's see what else to say. In the weeks followed the killing of George Floyd, teenagers leveraging social media to call out classmates and peers for racist behavior became commonplace across the country. In many cases, anonymous pages on Instagram were set up devoted to holding classmates accountable, and Loudoun County was no exception. In the case of Groves, within 2 days, she was kicked off the university's cheer team and forced to withdraw from UT under pressure from admission officials, citing hundreds of emails and phone calls from outraged former and current students. They're angry and they want to see some action, an administration told Groves and her family, as reported by the Times. Now, before I go any further, I wonder would they have done that if all the unrest and everything going on with George Floyd, along with Ahmaud Arbery, and then recently we found out about Breonna Taylor. I wonder if that would have happened if it wasn't for those incidents. Would they have allowed this to skate on by or what? Because I noticed that over the summer, because of those incidents, a lot of stuff did not just simply slide. Like, I've noticed that, and I don't know if y'all picked up on that, but a lot of stuff that they would let just pass on by or roll off their back, they were like, quote unquote, in their own way, nipping it in the bud. So like what they did with her. Like I said, I wonder, would they have allowed this to just slip on by if all of the stuff that happened over the summer did not occur? In a thread posted to Twitter on June 4th, the university wrote, the University of Tennessee has received several reports of racist remarks and actions on social media by past, present, and future members of our community. The university takes seriously our commitment to fostering a volunteer community that values equity, inclusion, and that promotes respect for all people. We have a responsibility to support our black students and create a place where all feel safe. On Wednesday, following a racist video and photo surfacing on social media, Athletics made the decision to not allow a prospective student to join the Spirit program. She will not be attending the university this fall. Groves will become one of many incoming freshmen across the U.S. who saw their admission offers revoked after similar footage emerged on social media showing them using racist language. In Groves' case, which occurred in one of the nation's wealthiest school districts, students claimed racism had long been tolerated or overlooked at the school. Well, clearly, because didn't they say earlier in the article that the video was put out there before when they were both in high school, but it went overlooked? That goes back to what I just said. If it wasn't for the stuff that happened over the summer with George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor, would they have even cared? Would they have let this go? And now you see that they said that racism often got overlooked. So that means that this county, this district, has a history of racism and reports of it and claims, but they all went overlooked. But remember what I've told you, Virginia is one of the most racist states in America. All them villes and all them burgs, they said that happened in Leesburg. I heard of Leesburg. When I was going to school in South Carolina, I would have to travel through Leesburg in Loudoun County. So trust and believe me, I know exactly what they're talking about. It was just always very uncomfortable being black in the classroom, said Muna Berry, who was in the same school year as Groves and Galligan. Some students told the Times they were told by white counterparts to go pick cotton, while Berry said gym teachers at her elementary school once organized an Underground Railroad game where students were forced to run through an obstacle course in the dark and would be forced to start over if they made a noise. The Underground Railroad was a network of secret routes and safe houses and used by enslaved African Americans to escape their captures to freedom. Galligan himself said he recalled being mocked with a racial slur by white classmates after their senior year. English teacher played an audio recording of the 1902 novella Heart of Darkness that contained racist language. Now, to all the people out there who are quote unquote mixed or biracial and say that this can't happen to you, take a page out of this kid's book right here. He said he has a black mother and a white father, and even he experienced racism. And he was the one that put her on blast. So this boy, while he would be in the category of mixed or biracial, he knows who he is. He knows at the end of the day, anyone can call him the N-word, and he also felt offended when she said it. He didn't let it slide because she was white. So he knows where he stands. I bet you, I would not be surprised if he got called Colin Kaepernick as a derogatory term, or should I say as an insult, which would not be seen as an insult. One of the classmates who mocked him, Galligan said, later went on to make threatening comments about Muslims in an Instagram post. Galligan said he showed the footage to the principal, who declined to take action on account of the free speech. You know, Palm Color love that free speech. They love to abuse that free speech a lot. I just felt so hopeless, he told the Times. A report commissioned last year by the school district documented a pattern of school leaders ignoring the widespread use of racial slurs by both students and teachers. It is shocking to the extent to which students report the use of the N-word as the prevailing concern, the report read, according to the Times, adding that employees had a low level of racial consciousness and racial literacy, while a lack of repercussions for hurtful language forced students into a hostile learning environment. Now look at that. They said that employees had a low level of racial consciousness and racial literacy, basically saying they would just say these words and didn't know that there would be consequences behind it, which also lets you know the type of environment they grew up and were raised in. But again, like I told you, Virginia is one of the most racist states in America. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but many people who live in Virginia could definitely agree with me on that. And this is more for the people that are not familiar with the state of Virginia. Let's not forget, the first slave ships, when they got to America, what is now known as the U.S., stopped in what is known as Jamestown, Virginia. So what does that tell you? In the report wake, the district released a plan to combat systemic racism in August. Heritage High School did not respond to a Times request for comment. Reflecting on the backlash caused by her video, Groves said that at the time she didn't understand the severity of the word or the history and context behind it because I was so young. Excuse me? Excuse me. You were 15 years old, and let's play devil's advocate for a second here. Let's say you didn't know the severity or the history of the word. If you didn't know it, why did you say it? And the fact that she said it like that, and after hearing what I'm hearing about this school and this district and them glossing over everything, I can see why she thought she could get away with it, because there were no consequences or repercussions behind it. But she was 15. She had to have known what that word meant. Because I was so young. Well, now you know. She continued by telling the Times the same slurs she used regularly featured in the songs. There it is. She and her friends listened to, but added, I'm not using that as an excuse. It sounds like it was you tried to do that. It disgusts me that those words would ever come out of my mouth, she continued. How can you convince somebody that has never met you and the only thing that they've seen of you is that 3-second clip? Groves said racial slurs of any kind of hate speech has never been tolerated inside her family home. Her mother, Marsha Groves, said the whole family has been suffering with the consequences of her daughter's actions. Are we supposed to cry you a river? When the footage went viral, a second image caption with the racial slur surfaced online, though the family claimed it was doctors to further damage Groves' reputation. Now 19, Groves said she was also threatening with violence if she ever stepped foot on the campus of UT. Marsha said her daughter was being targeted by a mob on social media users for a mistake she made as an adolescent. We just needed to stop, so we withdrew her, Marsha told the Times, adding the 3-second video had ruined 12 years of her daughter's hard work. They rushed to judgment and unfortunately is going to affect her for the rest of her life. In the 6 months since Galligan posted the video online, Groves had enrolled in online classes at a local community college, while Galligan is now a freshman at California's Vanguard University. I've learned how quickly social media can take something they know very little about, twist the truth, and potentially ruin somebody's life, Groves said. But that's the thing, they didn't twist anything. You were there on the video and you said what you said and people saw it. There was no twisting. Groves and Galligan were reportedly once friendly in high school but have never spoken about the incident directly. One of her friends who was black, of course they have to go get the black spokesman or spokeswoman or spokesperson, said Groves apologized for the video long before it went viral last summer. The friend who wasn't named said she also defended Groves online, which led to her receiving critical message from strangers online. We're supposed to educate people, she wrote in a post to Snapchat, according to the Times, not ruin their lives because you want to feel a sense of empowerment. Meanwhile, Groves insists he has no regrets. If I never posted that video, nothing would have ever happened, he said, adding the clip will always be available to watch online. So he's very unapologetic which I can't even fault him for. I'm going to remind myself, you started something, he said, according to the Times. You taught someone a lesson. I can't even be mad at him. And they're trying to make us feel bad for this girl. I don't. I do not. Now, what's interesting is that I read through some of the comments, at least the ones that I could get through, about this story, and already the people are attacking him. They're like, how dare you put something out there like that that could ruin her and, her future and her career, because, they have to protect PC's future at all times. How dare this person? They probably calling him the N-word right now. They are probably calling him that right now because he had the nerve to put her on blast and expose her. Oh, she was only 15. She was only a child. Oh, she was young. She didn't know what she was doing. Only PC can be allowed to get away with that. Remember what happened with Trayvon Martin when he was killed by George Zimmerman, and they reached into his past and they tried to use him smoking weed and getting suspended from school as a reason as to why he was killed. They'll use that for themselves, but when it comes to us, they'll reach back into our past to justify what happens to us in a negative way. That's why I don't feel bad for her. Going into this, I already didn't feel bad for her. Now I really don't. Well, I never did, so it doesn't matter. So kudos to Jimmy Galligan. Good luck to him in his future. As for her, maybe when Move It is done, you can find a bar and a pole to swing from. I hear the circus is, looking for a few clowns. I'm just giving out job suggestions. Because as far as I'm concerned, that's all she'll ever be, is a clown. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you have your notifications turned on to all, and I will talk to you in the next one.